Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. If you like what we do, you can support us by sharing the podcast with your friends and family. This way more people would learn about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about the Russia's invasion. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 345 days, Ukraine defended itself against the forces of the Russian invasion. The US announced a new $2.2 billion military aid package for Ukraine, reports Voice of America. The Pentagon clarified that the package, among other things, will include artillery ammunition, anti-tank weapons, short and for the first time long-range missiles for HIMARS installations. In addition, the package also includes mine-resistant armored personnel carriers, equipment for the Ukrainian air defense systems, 2 Hawk air defense systems, anti-aircraft guns and ammunition, Puma unmanned aerial systems, secure communication equipment, medicines, and more. According to the Pentagon, some $425 million worth of weapons and equipment will be allocated to Ukraine from the existing stocks of the US Army. The rest will be purchased from manufacturers. Germany approved the supply of Leopard 1 tanks to Ukraine, reports Interfax Ukraine. Tank producer Rheinmetall AG stated earlier that the company could theoretically prepare 139 tanks for the subsequent deliveries to any party, 88 Leopard 1 and 51 Leopard 2. The Leopard 1 tank was produced from 1960s to 1980s and was in service with Germany until 2010. More than a dozen countries still have it in their armed forces, and the tank is constantly being upgraded. In total, almost 5,000 tanks of this model were produced. According to the German radio, the problem is the shortage of 105mm shells for these tanks. They are no longer produced in Germany, and Brazil, which still has 250 such combat vehicles and shells for them, refuses to transfer ammunition to Germany. The same problem is with the anti-aircraft self-propelled guns Gepard. Switzerland, who still produces this type of ammunition, so far refused to provide it to Germany for transfer to Ukraine due to its neutrality. Earlier, Berlin transferred 37 Gepard installations to Ukraine. You know, we've been doing the podcast for about a year now, and as our format is designed to give you only the most important news, we feel that on some topics more in-depth discussion is needed. And this is exactly what we are going to do. In a new segment called Long Talk, we discuss different topics in and around Ukraine with invited guests, from experts to eyewitnesses and ordinary Ukrainians who lived through the war. Our first episode will be released very soon, so look out for it. Ukraine-EU summit took place yesterday in Kyiv, reports Interfax Ukraine. President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen made several important announcements during the event. The EU approved grant of €1 billion to Ukraine for economic recovery. These funds will be used to repair buildings, roads, schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure. She also promised to export 2 gigawatts of electricity to Ukraine to support its energy system. Ursula von der Leyen said that the 10th package of European Union sanctions against Russia, which has to be adopted by February 24th, includes restrictions on €10 billion. The President of the European Commission added that the purpose of the package is to focus on technologies that could be used by the Russian military machine. According to her, an important topic of the package will also be the circumvention of the sanctions, and proposals will be put forward to counteract this. Von der Leyen also reminded that the ban on the import of Russian petroleum products come into force on Sunday, February 5th, plus the EU together with G7 is putting price caps on these products. According to the European Pravda, one of the results of the Ukraine-EU summit is the Brussels agreement to give Ukraine an interim assessment of its progress in fulfilling the criteria it received along with the EU candidate status. Earlier, the EU insisted that the assessment will not be given to Ukraine until autumn of 2023. Thus, Ukraine cannot correct its mistakes on its way to the fulfillment of the criteria to join the EU. This in turn may hinder the negotiations on Ukraine's EU membership being carried out in 2023. Yet the decision of the summit solves this issue. The EU agreed to put the oral report on paper and hand the official document over to Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, president of Ukraine, also commented on the expectations concerning Ukraine's EU membership negotiations. He stressed that starting negotiations on EU membership in 2023 is Ukraine's primary task. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that the European Union officially supported the Ukrainian peace formula. This was recorded in the final statement of the summit. The formula has specific 10 points, the implementation of which will make it possible to restore Ukraine's territorial integrity and security not only of Ukraine but also of the whole of Europe, stressed Zelenskyy. He called it a significant diplomatic achievement. Volodymyr Zelenskyy informed that the situation at the front remains very difficult, especially in the Donetsk region. He thanked Ukrainian soldiers who withstand the harsh pressure of the occupiers and who fulfill the task of defending their positions, and who, even in such difficult conditions as on the front lines now, brings Ukraine good news. In particular, the president thanked the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade for successful counteroffensive actions in the Donetsk region. Earlier, the president said that Ukraine is preparing for a possible new offensive by Russia, reports BBC News Ukraine. According to his forecast, the main battles may unfold in the east of Ukraine, including in the Liman region, where Russia suffered a crushing defeat in the fall of 2022 and was forced to withdraw its troops. According to Zelenskyy, Russia wants revenge and to take the east. He stressed that Ukraine's task is not to give them such an opportunity and hold on until the moment when its army is strengthened with appropriate weapons. He called on partners to give Ukraine more weapons, including long range. Zelenskyy also commented on the difficult situation in Bakhmut, Donetsk region, where the fierce fighting has been going on for several months. The Ukrainian president said that Ukraine will fight for the city for as long as it can. We consider Bakhmut our fortress, we consider our warriors who unfortunately died there heroes, the president emphasized. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.